like to invite Liz up to the stage, and
what else you can say, right?
we're now listening.
Shirley, on your red folder. You did. Hi, everybody. Sorry. I'm kind of loud that way. I don't normally read anything, but tonight we have had a gift from God. Yes, you better. Tonight, Shirley gave me a letters patent from 2000. Now, a lot of politicians and lawyers and so on and so forth say that the letters patent don't mean anything, so A, why are they still issuing them when they sell Carelton land? But the beautiful part about this patent is, and I'm going to read to you one of the reservations. Remember, this is reservations in the letters patent, which I'll explain in a minute. It says here under section 3(1) subsection C, one of the reservations is for any purpose consistent with municipal zoning. In other words, this patent is from 2000, and if they have not reserved zoning in the letters patent, they can't zone it if they don't own it. So, to me, that's a little gift from God. Because now, and I almost cried when I read that, I am absolutely 100% irrevocably justified in everything I've been saying for 5 years now. And you have no idea what this actually means to the people of this province. Because I have been saying this, I have had the proof, I have been working on this for the protection of private property rights every day for 5 years. So, thank you, Queen Elizabeth, for your letters patent from 2000. Anyways, as we all know, I am not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice. I work as a legal researcher for Terrence Green, which, by the way, he has a case that can use this right now. A guy is fighting his zoning and he's using his patent. So, anyways, but I'm just kind of thunderstruck right now. But anyways, I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm here to help councillors and candidates understand the Municipal Act, the Planning Act, the Building Code, the Conservation Authority Act, and because it's late already, this is going to be Reader's Digest version. So, and this is actually for all of you to understand what your councillors are going through. So, under the Councillor's Guide of 2010, it tells councillors and elected officials, talk to staff. Talk to staff, talk to staff, talk to staff, talk to staff. Take all of their recommendations. But under Chapter 3 bylaws, they are not to talk to staff because staff can't give them legal advice. Well, who is making the recommendations to our councillors to pass bylaws? Staff. Conservation authorities. And everybody seems to think that staff should know all of the limitations, correct? Everyone thinks that staff should understand the legislation they're working with, right? And so do the councillors, because the councillors are you and me. They're average, everyday people. So we, as the people who get elected, are relying on staff to be honest and straightforward, and to know and understand the limitations of the council and the limitations of their authority, correct? Staff does not know, particularly the planners. And I found it very disturbing when we found out that people from Europe are actually teaching in our universities planning. Because people from Europe do not know or understand our laws. They work with Napoleonic Civil Code in Europe.
Wow.
We are common law. We are British common law, other than Quebec in Canada. If you need proof of that, go to the Federal Interpretations Act, Section 8.1 and 8.2. Sections 8.2 explains to you that any term that has ever been used in common law retains that interpretation. When something retains its interpretation under common law, it stands as common law. So, what are municipalities? They are corporations. Now, at one point in time, there was a court case where a judge had stated that the municipalities are actually creatures of the province. They are not creatures of the province. These are not my words. They are the words of Paul Molson, I think his name is, from the University of British Columbia. He is as left-wing as you get, so you have somebody who's on the left wing agreeing with someone who's quasi-right-wing, then you know there's an agreement. And he states, and I state, that the municipalities are not creatures of the province, they are the creatures of you. Because it took freehold landowners to petition the province or the crown to create or incorporate or create the letters patent to create that municipality. And because it is a corporation, you as the residents are shareholders. So if you are a shareholder of a corporation, say it's Canadian Tire, can Canadian Tire come to you and say to you, you have to do something on your property? No. Can Canadian Tire come and tell you that you are now residential or you are now commercial? No. This is where everything has gone wrong. The planners are coming out of university and they actually think that they can plan right down to the color of your homes. They're doing it in Quebec. They are banning pink trim in Quebec. Yeah. It's in my book. Why pink? I think they heard me on CFRA saying, if you want to paint your paint trim pink, you can paint it pink. But there was a woman in Quebec who painted her trim pink, and lo and behold, there was a bylaw passed, you can't have pink trim. It's a go figure moment. This is the problem. These planners, I did the Rural Land Use Conference at the University of Guelph. Professor Glenn Fox asked me to be on a panel in regards to land use conditions for rural areas. And of course, I had to do a dissertation on the letters patent, and I did. But this panel was after the planners were done, and you want to know something? Before our panel got up, every planner in the room left. Because they knew that we would be explaining to them that you can't plan it if you don't own it. And that's what the Planning Act actually says. And that's what the Municipal Act actually says. Because municipalities are a corporation. The council is the board of directors. You are the shareholders. Under Section 2 of the Municipal Act, it states that the municipalities shall be accountable and transparent. It also states that they have been granted good government status by the province. This cannot be done. Because the province does not have the constitutional authority to implement good government under the Constitution. There is nothing in Section 92 of the British North America Act that states that the provinces have good government status. It's only the federal government. And if you read the multitude of manuals I have on government that were created as an interpretation of the British North America Act, everyone would know that. But no one is reading this. So, the Google gods were really good to me this past year. And I want to explain to you why no one's reading anything. And I want to explain to you why everything is falling apart. In 2004, there was an interview with the treasurer of the Law Society from Upper Canada. And her name is Laura Leggett, or was. She passed away this past year. Anyways, in this interview, which is 200 and some odd pages, I was reading through it, and I hit on something, and she states in this interview that our lawyers have not been trained in historical law, which meaning our historical constitutional law. They have not been trained in the law of evidence, the law of equity, or common law since about the 90s. So she says in this document, first off, if you don't know any of that, you can't even be competent as a lawyer. You can't even practice law. Secondly, she went to a dean of a prominent law school and she said to him, she says, "What are you doing?" And his response was, "It is not our job to teach them the law, it is our job to teach them to think like lawyers." These lawyers are our judges. If you're all wondering why everything is falling apart, no one knows the law. So what does the Ontario Landowners Association do? We're actually trying to uphold the law. That's all we're doing. Radical thought, eh? So what I've done, Jack, you're on the spot again. I have a petition at the